This week, it's funny, Mike, we talked about this right before the show. We have a lot of court updates, but we always are like really laser focused on a lot of these trials. And so another one of these focuses is on the James and Jennifer Crumbly. They are the parents of the 15-year-old Ethan Crumbly, the Oxford high school shooter, allegedly. We have to say allegedly because, he hasn't been convicted, but we do know that, he was there. Well, they are in a pretrial hearing this week, you guys, and I have been salivating at all 45-minute clips that have been coming through. I have gone down the rabbit hole. This case to me is so fascinating. It's the first in history in terms of like historically showing, we have so many mass shootings at schools, and this is the first time a parent has been on trial. So they are in the preliminary trial, you guys. So what this means is, the prosecutors have to prove that they can be charged. They have enough evidence to charge them with involuntary manslaughter. And so here's what they have to prove, Mike. So when faced with involuntary manslaughter, the prosecution must prove all of the following conditions without a shadow of a doubt. 1, the victim died because of your actions. 2, the actions you took were egregiously negligent, or you intended to cause the victim harm but not necessarily kill them. And 3, you did not have lawful jurisdiction for taking the victim's life. So, like I said, you guys, I've been going down the rabbit hole with this. Please weigh in the comments if you have been watching this as well. Again, obviously the parents have pled not guilty, but Mike, what are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts on this? And I know you've been seeing this kind of like play out, but this to me, as we're seeing more evidence roll out, we're hearing that Jennifer Crumbly had an affair. We know that she spent a ton of time with her horses. We know that, her colleagues came out and talked about, she felt like, her child was weird, and that he was strange and that he didn't have a lot of friends. And, the mother really was just coming out a lot to say like, she kind of knew something was wrong with Ethan, that he wasn't quite normal. And, we want to be careful when we say that, but, the mother really felt like, something was kind of up and odd with her son. So with that being said, if there's something kind of odd with your son, do you know that he's going to be this like violent mass shooter? Can you be charged for that?
I wish I could say yes. I think coming in here today, I was ready to sit right here and say, put them under the jail. They did it. But I mean, I think you make a lot of good points, and it's so hard to prove things in a court of law. I think that the court of public opinion, oh yeah, put those parents both in jail. That mom knew that there was something off with her child. I don't want to mix up terminology, but I mean, she had just got called down to the school because he was drawing those very, very disturbing images, and the kid ends up being able to stay at school. But when you go through involuntary manslaughter and you like list those 3 things out the way that you just listed them, I think it's going to be extremely hard to come back with a guilty verdict, no matter how much we as the public feel like those parents are liable. And I think I don't know the rules on can you give your kid a gun. I don't live in their state.
Okay, don't think about it as the rules. Think about it. You're a parent.
Okay.
You're a parent, and how much control do you have over your child? Like, are you negligent okay, here's the thing. Let's also lay out the facts. The fact of the matter is that Ethan Crumbly was gifted a firearm, the one that he used on November 30th to allegedly kill 4 students at Oxford High School. He was gifted that gun by his parents. That is a fact. Does that mean the parents are negligent? Did they think, you wouldn't gift your kid a gun thinking that he was going to be a mass shooter. But if he's interested in firearms and you gift it to him, like, are you wrong for doing that as a parent? And should you be charged with involuntary manslaughter?
Yes.
And before you say that, I would like to say that the prosecutors they're basically trying to see what the parents knew, when they knew it, and were they negligent. Based on what I've seen, y'all, I don't know. I honestly do not think these charges are going to stick. I don't think they're going to be found guilty. I do not think there's enough evidence in this case to prove it. And I honestly think we are really treading such a slippery slope when we're talking about the responsibility of parents, right? And so this is a 15-year-old kid. You think he's different because he doesn't have a lot of friendships, but how could they know that he was going to do that, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, I've seen things that say that mom thought that something was off. What I have not seen is a history of violence with the kid. He's drawn pictures, but I haven't seen anything that documents him ever hurting anyone. And I think that that is going to play a part in this case. I think also buying him the gun is one thing, but because there was no documented issues with this kid where he hurt people, it's going to be hard to say that just because they bought him the gun, they are at fault. In a court of law, in a court of public opinion, I think it's going to be different, but I don't see them going to jail, and it bothers me. It bothers me a lot.
It doesn't bother me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It absolutely doesn't bother me based on the pretrial stuff that I've watched. I don't feel they are as negligent as the media has sensationalized. I do think that they do bear some responsibility as parents, absolutely 100%. But I don't think that they would ever think that their child would commit this crime. And I don't think they should be charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Of course, they don't think that their child will commit this crime, but their child was able to go get the gun. I'm a registered gun owner. My kids can't get to my guns because they're locked up. So,
that might be the only thing that sticks.
and that's
honestly.
what I'm saying. So when my daughter's old enough, for sure, I plan on teaching her how to shoot a gun. But there will never be a situation where she could walk into the house and have the code to get into the safe, to get to the firearms on her own. And, maybe that'll play a part in this case.
Well, we'll see, you guys. Basically this got some time, and the evidence is still coming out. So until then, we will stay tuned and keep you updated.